Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. That time we woke up in a podcast and had to explain manga, our heated adventures, overanalyzing manga that we find interesting. My name is Sam, and join us once again this week as we dive back into the Apothecary Diaries. Story by Natsu Hyūga and art by Nekokurage. We read chapters 15 through 33, volumes 4 and 6. So crack open your obscure medicinal trivia and enjoy the show. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always here at the top of the show, we talk about our familiarity with the franchise we read this week. It has been a hot minute since we've gotten into Apothecary Diaries. For me, I watched a few episodes of the anime, quite enjoyed it, but other than that, not much beyond what we read to last time. Matt, how about you?
Same for me. I haven't even watched the anime, so completely fresh for me.
All right, Jay, I understand that you went a bit ahead of our previous reading.
That is correct. I got into a mode of things where it was difficult to put it down, so I did read a bit ahead, and I did watch a little bit of the anime.
Wonderful. And Jacob?
I actually also watched some of the anime. I actually really like MaoMao's voice in the dub. I think she has the perfect voice.
Excellent. And yeah, we start off this reading with Jinshi talking about the aftermath of the previous events at the garden banquet, wondering who was possibly behind the attempted murders that happened there. Both accidental because it's just a prank, bro, and actual, like, politically motivated murder.
Yeah.
Because...
or attempt, anyway.
Yeah, because every good... mystery and political intrigue is enhanced with a little bit of catty pranks taken too far.
Gotta love it.
As a red herring. Yes. Mean Girls as a red herring is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
So at this point, we have a little back and forth about, oh no, this is such a tragedy. Oh no, another mystery.
Another mystery pops up before we can really deeply address that.
A maid was found frozen and drowned in the moat.
Yeah, I like the first half of our reading where MaoMao had been trending this way during our last reading, but like for the first half of our reading was really just firmly, so what if we were just Detective Conan, but in like ancient China? Yes, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm having a blast. Naturally, the inner court physician, the quack that MaoMao regularly makes fun of, is too terrified to touch the corpse. So she does the...
Very good at his job.
Yeah. So MaoMao does the investigation, revealing that this woman had bound feet, a particularly horrifying ancient practice of breaking a woman's feet and binding them into a smaller shape because smaller foot equal pretty.
Yeah. Well, not pretty. It's just privilege. It's just like, hey, my feet literally are inoperable. So you literally have to carry me everywhere because...
this is a real thing that was done.
Those mean the same thing. They're pretty because of the like excess you can do as proof you don't have to work. Like...
Yes. Yeah. So you cripple them. You're a cripple now.
I don't have to work.
I don't have to work. And you know what? I don't have to work so bad I'm going to remove my own mobility. Boy, I really hope nothing happens to my social standing.
Oh, excuse me, Sam. These feet don't need to walk me around. They just need to stick up in the air.
I mean, you're not wrong.
In the inner court, you're right.
You're right.
But also, the tips of her fingers were scraped bloody, implying that despite what others think, this isn't a suicide. She desperately tried to get out of the moat and rubbed her fingers raw on the edge of it.
Hopefully you've the reading, dear listener, and you already know where this is going because you read it. But I do find it interesting, and I kind of like the fact that they don't totally answer definitively whether or not this was how much this was suicide, how much this was murder. They definitely fall on one side of this is what the characters believe happened.
They keep it open.
There is that bit of ambiguity left to it.
Yeah. Because in the grand scheme of things, Does it really matter?
Not to MaoMao.
Yeah,
MaoMao doesn't.
basically.
MaoMao doesn't give a shit about anything that isn't poison.
Jinji. And Jinji.
No, she doesn't give a shit about Jinji.
really
Otherwise,
doesn't.
she'd answer any obvious things.
MaoMao stays in her lane. The JFK event could happen in front of her, and she would say, "Not my business."
We'll talk about the big plot revelation when it happens here. But my God,
Well, the thing that is pretty easy to forget about MaoMao, for all of the text in this manga, MaoMao is like nearly mute. She never speaks out loud. Like almost all of the like dialogue we get from MaoMao is her thinking in her head, but not voicing out loud like anything that she observes or thinks about a situation.
She definitely learned very early on that if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything.
no, she
More
learned.
She never has anything nice to say.
Well, that's true too. But more specifically, speaking is dangerous. If you say the wrong thing, you can be beheaded. This is ancient China, after all.
That's why, if you're going to go around solving murders, you need to go around with someone who always takes naps, so that you can pretend to have his voice and solve the crimes for him. I've just accepted we're never reading Detective Conan, so.
But I wanna, though.
At some point, eventually. But yes, MaoMao continues to think that it was not a suicide.
There's too many suspicious elements. Like the foot binding thing means it would have been hard for her to climb on the wall she fell off of. There's the hands bloodied from trying to climb out. It seems like a suicide at first blush, but the closer you look at it, the more suspicious it becomes.
Yeah, basically like her homegirl was dumped out of a cart.
Pretty much.
Well, that's inconvenient and anticlimactic.
Whenever the mystery stalls, who is here to help but MaoMao's chatty gossip friend Xiaolon?
Gotta love it.
Oh, that's right. She does have a name.
You give me food, I give you exposition. I heard it was a suicide. And also, the lady who died, she was a maid at the palace of one of the consorts, a consort who's about to get demoted.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Seriously, I love her friend. Just give her all the tea.
It's great. The like primary consort that we're dealing with in this portion of the reading, Lady Aduo, the pure consort. She was the emperor's original monogamous wife when the emperor was still prince.
Yeah, it's really interesting how, because MaoMao is kind of untangling how she's risen to such a prestigious role despite she has not had any heirs or produced any children that we are aware of.
Yeah, she had a son who died, and that actually is kind of the one of the sort of important elements is that, like, even when he was prince, you were sort of expected as prince to have more than one wife. It was notable that he just had her because, like, they had like an emotional connection. Like, it wasn't, their relationship wasn't strictly business like it is with a lot of the other consorts.
Yeah. She was the whole package.
Also, weirdly, more business than any of the other consorts.
This is true.
At least by the time we get to it, yeah.
We'll talk about. There's an entire chapter about it, so we'll talk about it then. But
indeed, MaoMao was sent to the Garnet Palace to investigate under the pretenses of being there to help clean up.
Just because it's going to be hard to mention it at any other point, I feel like it's worth noting the sort of interesting structure that this series takes. And it's not something that was super easy to notice in our first reading section, but it is very obvious here, is they basically have a bunch of anthology stories that all like sit floating separate from each other. And then eventually they all suddenly come colliding into a much larger plot later on. It's like half courtly drama, half mystery. And the mysteries are actually nearly impossible to solve without the kind of encyclopedic knowledge that MaoMao has. But by structuring the story like this, you can actually start piecing the greater story together basically at the same pace it as MaoMao does once we reach the climax of this arc.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say this about I compared MaoMao to Detective Conan earlier. Detective Conan has better murder mystery plots. Apothecary Diary kind of falls into like what I call the Encyclopedia Brown level mysteries, where it's just like, I read an interesting fact online once. Here's an entire murder based on knowing that, you know?
Yeah. This is a mystery on like vibes more so than it is on you can actually solve it. It's sort of similar to the original Conan Doyle Sherlock Holmes, because you can't solve those either.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Clearly, my wife's paramour was injecting himself with ape blood and turned himself into a half-human, half-ape abomination. That's just science, Jacob.
Yeah.
Before MaoMao goes to the Garnet Palace, we have a small interstitial where Consort Li Shu shows up for a tea party, and it's revealed that she's very nervous around honey. This is a surprise tool that will help us later.
Mm-hmm.
But we go to the Garnet Palace, and the way that they talk about Lady Aduo is interesting.
To be fair, she has one job. And she's very bad at it, apparently.
Yes, but the way that that's like portrayed in the like narration is weird, because it's like, wow, this person is so incredibly attractive and dashing, yet has such a masculine aura, really androgynous, much like Jinshi.
Almost like the opposite of Jinshi, because she is a woman that looks like more like an incredibly handsome man, where he is so incredibly beautiful he looks very feminine.
But like the comparison to Jinshi had me barking up the wrong tree of like, are they secretly like siblings, or is this Jinshi in disguise?
I have no idea how old any character is supposed to be in this.
Yeah.
Unless they explicitly tell me, neither do I.
Yeah, same.
I mean, it was kind of clear to me that Jinshi was supposed to be significantly younger than Aduo, so it was just kind of like, nah, they're not siblings.
No.
Yeah. But
the Venn diagram of dashing woman and pretty man is nearly a circle.
Well, no, because then they'd be identical, but they're opposite sides of that inner slice.
Yes, which is interesting.
MaoMao looking at her like, man, put her in like riding trousers and a jerkin, and she'd be so dashing.
Yeah, I mean, objectively, yeah. Just
I want her to ride me like a prize steed.
all right, MaoMao, calm down.
I was questioning MaoMao's sexuality before. There is no way MaoMao is straight. I'm pretty sure she's ace. But there is no way she's
And
straight.
there it is, everyone. This early on in the episode, we are now questioning MaoMao's sexuality.
The degree to which she's analytical with women, I don't get sapphic vibes from her either. I'm pretty sure she's ace.
I would have to say she has to be analytical of everyone just based on her background, whether they be male or female. Because I mean, you're only duping yourself if you think that you can like jump full in with a bunch of women.
It's also her inner monologue is the thing. Like if she just acted that way outwardly, it would be one thing. But
she could appreciate women from like a professional standpoint. Like she appreciates the craft.
Yeah.
Which I felt was normal.
The other thing that's worth noting is that she seems actively repulsed by everything that Jinshi does that's like even the slightest bit flirty, but the only times where there's like any kind of romantic chemistry between the two of them is when he's like genuinely nice to her as opposed to like trying to seduce her. So
I mean, she's also like repulsed like middle school crush level. Like,
yeah.
Gross.
She
it
might
seemed
be
more severe to me personally, but
I mean, she might be assessing, so we don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
I might be self-dosing.
Well, we know that she's self-dosing.
We know she can make aphrodisiacs. Man, this series really toned down from that first arc, didn't it?
I'm just saying, this homegirl's idea of a good like weekend is poisoning and making aphrodisiacs for her own pleasure alone.
Alone, yeah.
Yeah.
No, she microdoses with poisons. Like she parties.
Party. The head lady in waiting at the Garnet Palace is our actual primary character for this segment, Feng Ming. She is extremely devoted to the consort that she serves, is very quick to praise the other girls to keep morale up.
She's very good at working people and getting them to do what they're supposed to.
Which is great. I mean, she manages a bunch of people.
There's multiple cases where MaoMao's like, wait, she just did the thing on me, damn it.
God damn it, I've been Pavloved.
Even MaoMao, who's very good at catching these sorts of things, ends up falling for it every now and again.
Half of MaoMao's interactions are, I know you're playing me, but you're right. While she considers Feng Ming's loyalty to be something that could lead to trying to kill Li Shu, or actually no, because Li Shu was the original target,
but they screwed up who got which plate.
Yeah, right, that was it. Oh, that was so twisty turny. She tried to kill Li Shu was the target. Mm-hmm. It's like while that loyalty could serve as a motive, I don't really have enough to work with to make something. Oh, hey, what's all these jars of honey?
I sure hope this won't be plot relevant later.
If only it was wolfsbane honey, then I would consume it.
MaoMao, but you know what? Never mind. You already know. That's why you said it.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, MaoMao.
Hey, stop being weird.
No, never.
Hey, random plot exposition made. What's with all the honey? Oh yeah, Lady Feng Ming's family is they're wealthy beekeepers, and so we've got just a whole bunch of honey, which is really fortunate. It's such a luxury that we can have so much handy like this. Honey of all varieties. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Hey, Feng Ming, can I talk to you a bit? Oh yeah, just wait here outside my door. Sure. Is that the shoe that a woman with bound feet would wear? And there's only one of them. It looks like it was wrapped in a towel as if it was wet. Oh, what was that? Lady, you're being real suspicious.
Aggressively suspicious.
But not in a way that anybody other than MaoMao would notice. What's suspicious about honey and having a random shoe? Well,
the shoe is extremely suspicious because that is a shoe that can only be worn by someone who's been foot bound. She hasn't. She should not have the shoe. The honey is innocuous, but the shoe is...
The honey is only a clue if you've got your Encyclopedia Brown level trivia facts ready.
Yeah.
As it turns out, even the most innocuous honey is still mildly toxic. And Jinshi's just yes, look at all this honey I'm putting in my tea. Are you getting any clues?
That scene is insane.
It's great.
Let's talk about it. What about this scene is insane? It's very tantalizing.
Jinshi holds this pot of honey, and I could not unsee the fact that he's got two fingers dipped down into the honey pot. And I'm like, okay, I get the vibe there. But then I notice his ring finger is curled back and his pinky is fully extended. And I'm like, my God, he's giving that honey pot the shocker.
Yeah.
Now, MaoMao, good girls deserve rewards. Here,
it's wink, wink.
This isn't even a metaphor. This is just what it seems like.
Don't be shy. No.
I'd kick him in the balls, but no, I won't do that because no reason to kick something that isn't there.
That's not there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am waiting for when she just does that on reflex, and that's the revelation that Jinshi isn't actually a eunuch.
There's a speed in our reading where if she didn't figure out through that,
hopeless.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure what you're supposed to take away from that scene is that MaoMao already knew, but she was repressing that knowledge because she doesn't want to know things, but we'll get to it.
Yes, basically he's too damn hot. I don't need this information.
MaoMao is very much of the opinion that if you don't know about the plot, you can't get wrapped up in the plot. Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
This manga keeps proving her wrong. It doesn't work that way, MaoMao. Stop it.
She has literally turned from like, oh, this is a fun little point of view of the Empire's court to what if I gave one girl who desperately didn't want to be a heroine all the main character flags?
Lady Gyokyo to the rescue. MaoMao is now on the scent of honey in order to figure out like the like various murdering that's been going on. And so she goes to talk to Lishu. It's like, so why do you not like honey? How could you tell? You're 14. You have no poker face. Oh.
They do a really good job of her facial expressions.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the facial expressions in this are really good.
You know, Lishu tells the story about how, I don't quite remember it because I was too little at the time, but I ate honey as a child and I nearly died, so I've been warned off it ever since by my nursemaids. So I'm extremely nervous about it.
That's a good reason.
Yep. Anyway, before I can give more expository dialogue, my ladies in waiting are going to show up and bully you, and also this situation is so sad. I feel so bad for Lishu.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
There is a lot of reasons to feel sad for this character.
To be fair,
yeah.
She's also living a way better life than the majority of the people in what we've read, so...
Yeah, that's true too.
It's all about relativism. It's just like, yeah, but...
Yeah, all things relative. She is living an extremely socially isolated life being controlled by bullies. Materially, she's an impossible luxury, but...
Even socially, she's impossible luxury. Like,
yeah.
MaoMao is beneath her, but she has other people to talk to. Like...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and unfortunately she doesn't realize, or maybe she does realize and just doesn't care at this point, but those people don't have to like talking to you. They're just essentially paid and praised to listen to you talk.
So, spoiler alert, no one has to like talking to you.
I do like how MaoMao, when she gets sick of the bullying ladies in waiting, is like, I'm here directly on orders from Sir Jinshi. Except instead of intimidating them, they just go, Kya!
What?
Okay. Okay, that wasn't the effect that I wanted, but it got me what I needed, so...
It got me the thing I was after, so I'm not going to question it.
Quick, Lishu, while they're distracted, how do you know Lady Feng Ning? And then we cut away because we have to have the denouement later.
Which is very Detective Conan. It's like, yes, the thing that would ruin the mystery if you heard it.
Yep. If this was formatted like a Columbo episode, this would have happened first.
Because Columbo had the balls.
Yes, he does.
Yep.
Unlike Jinsei, reportedly.
We have MaoMao reading up on some imperial records, learning that, and again, this is very twisty-turny, but right around the same time, Lady Aoduo had the current emperor, then the crown prince's son. The Empress Dowager had another child who was the crown prince's younger brother. And then,
and they note the fact that the lead-lined white face powder was in use at the time, so everybody was sick.
Mm-hmm.
There were only so many doctors to go around, and I do like one thing that's noted of the court doctors is that they're kind of bad because if you're a doctor, you can just be paid for that. And not end up a eunuch.
If you're a competent enough doctor, you can go ply your trade anywhere. There's no need to get your balls chopped off.
Unless you want extra credit for some weird reason.
People do weird things for social status.
They do.
The physician that looked after Lady Ado and her young son was not the twist I was expecting.
It was MaoMao's father.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
The doctor who adopted her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's an important clarification for later.
Which is also why he was disgraced, presumably because
because he wasn't able to successfully save the baby.
The baby was saved. The baby lived on. The problem was the birth ruined Adue's womb.
For the future. So you've essentially made her
infertile.
Which is really interesting because that means they knew the second that baby was born that she could never have children again, and she's been allowed to be prime consort for so many years. Like that
creates political concerns of like, why the heck is she here?
Yeah, that ties into the idea that she and the then crown prince, now emperor, like their relationship was different than emperor and consort.
Yeah, it creates. It was this weird thing of like, we'll skip to it. Denouement. MaoMao's pa was told to stall the labor long enough for the current emperor, for the at the time empress's baby to be born first, and that can't be easy with this century's medicine. So it got bungled and rendered the princess consort infertile, and
that's the reason why he's disgraced and living in the pleasure district.
And had a kneecap removed. Like, holy shit!
Yikes!
In all honesty, like, given what had happened, like, even if he was ordered to do it, it's like disgraced and sent to the pleasure district. Yeah, that makes sense for bungling and had a kneecap removed. Okay, that escalated.
I mean, even then, considering he could have been just executed.
He could have been executed,
really, just in context.
Yeah.
Not awful. Like,
well, I think I think the in context says something about the nature of that social order.
Yeah.
Because the fact that having your kneecap removed was really merciful. Oh, was it now? Okay, which I think is what you're supposed to take away from this.
Yeah.
This was not a fun or easy time period and place to live.
Mm-hmm. With that backstory revealed, that really brings home the final confrontation where MaoMao, because, hey, little spoiler alert, you might have noticed we've only named like 3 characters. Probably the 2 who aren't main characters, the one who's left is the person who did the murder.
Yep.
I gotta say, this scene does a really good job with the tension, and it did not like conclude the way I expected, or the way MaoMao expected, funnily enough.
I love how MaoMao shows up to confront Feng Ming, and she's like menacingly chopping bread with a cleaver.
I was genuinely expecting the big thing to be once Feng Ming goes for the cleaver, a bunch of people burst into the room who had been listening in the entire time, and it was all a sting or something. But
MaoMao doesn't go in with backup. She handles everything personally.
This is an intelligent decision. Don't worry. She put oil in hardened paper.
Oh no, I thought she wrapped herself in oil-soaked rags so that like her skin couldn't be cut.
Yeah. She did.
I don't remember if it was functionally either like paper armor or cloth armor.
It wouldn't have done much.
Yeah. It wouldn't have done much, and it was only on her torso. God forbid she chops you anywhere else.
Yeah, like the thing is, that actually soaking both paper and cloth in oil actually was something that was done as armor at the time. And it is surprisingly effective. But the problem is, I feel like you'd go for the neck, which is not protected. like the problem isn't that her protection wouldn't have stopped a meat cleaver. The problem is she wouldn't have been hit. The head or the neck is an easier target.
What do you do if she aims for the head? Oh, well.
It doesn't come to that, because what MaoMao has realized is that not realizing that it can be harmful to babies with underdeveloped immune systems, honey can be toxic, especially in higher quantities.
I do like that she comes from a family that is all about making honey, and the one thing they don't know is don't feed honey to babies.
Yeah.
I mean,
weird gaps in knowledge that happen in certain technological points on the tree.
I don't know. I mean, people say the same thing about water in babies. Apparently, there's a lot of survivor's bias around that. So who knows?
Babies can swim.
Heard that too. And they can. And they can, yeah.
But yeah, it turns out feeding honey to babies is poison, and she fed honey to the newborn baby of Aodao. So didn't die because of complications with the birth, died because was fed honey.
Yep.
That was a major oopsie, and we hope that no one figured that out until now.
She's been hideously racked with guilt ever since.
Well, yeah, because it was the only prince.
Yep.
Like, the emperor has been wanting a male heir for, what's the math here? Like 20 years at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And the one he had was killed by someone who should have known better.
Even before he was actually the emperor, he was still the crown prince at the time.
It's even acknowledged that she should have known better. And the way that this ties into the poisoning at the garden party is because of Li Shu being so close with Ado, they had sort of like a there was the thing from the garden party of one of them is the mother-in-law to the other, and it doesn't go the way you think it does.
Uh-huh.
But they ended up actually having an age-appropriate sort of like surrogate mother-daughter relationship, and because Li Shu had a similar brush with honey that turns out was the real reason that that Ado's son died, Feng Ming wanted Li Shu away from Ado, so that would never come up as like a topic of conversation, because that would
cast suspicion on her.
It is really kind of like sad in a way, because I kind of feel like Ado had at least some idea of what was going on all along anyway. Like she's very sharp, she's very savvy, so...
Well, we get a whole thing with Adao when she's drunk and like just spilling her heart, and then MaoMao does a lot of like pontificating on that. And then
the speculation at the end of that.
Where she speculates the plot reveal and then stops going like, nah,
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing.
The thing that is so like crazy to me about that is the only reason why that feels like the future plot reveal is because the main character is saying it in the context that she's saying it. Because MaoMao is right. This is insane speculation. This is wild speculation. There's a speculation of a baby swap because certain characters' motivations make more sense in that context. But like, that's the only evidence.
When my baby was taken from me. I mean, that could metaphorically mean when your baby died, but...
Also has the whole thing where Fei Ming is like, yeah, and actually, she was actually really just okay with her child dying. Like, she had come to terms with it and had said, go. But I know she'd been crying for weeks leading up to that, but she had gotten over it so quickly. Almost as if someone had made a difficult decision and then was immediately validated that swapping them was a good idea.
Yeah, and it's like, because of the way narratives work and because of the way like story structure works, it's probably true. Adao's son and the newborn prince, brother of the current emperor, probably did get swapped at birth. But like, the thing I find the most hilarious is MaoMao was right to be like, wait a second, I am speculating on a whole bunch of stuff I do not have enough evidence for. I need to stop. And it's like, if this wasn't a manga, I would say that's a tinfoil hat conspiracy and no way true.
It would be, except they sure do love saying that Adao and Jinshi look similar. And man, is this manga going to play the game of, hey, Jinshi isn't the prince.
It is gonna dance around that like a freaking courtesan.
Yep. And I mean, you should have done the reading, not to spoil our entire discussion, but man, when it is not revealed that is the case, the manga sure does pretend like you should know.
Yep.
Yeah, they basically say out loud the very obvious implication from
he gets called Your Highness.
Like
with no lead up is the thing. Like, it's just matter of fact, turn the page. Like, it's not a stinger. It's, you've been reading this, you should know.
You should probably have been able to guess this by now.
You're not MaoMao. MaoMao's really fucking dumb.
We'll get to it.
I like to give MaoMao the benefit of the doubt that she is willfully ignorant, but
well, yeah, no, that's 100% my read, because
she's still ignorant.
Again, this is skipping ahead to later, but there's a point where MaoMao functionally figures it out and stops herself from following through with the thought. The way I read that, the way that she's piecing things together, it feels like this is a place her mind has gone before, and she is choosing to resist that path, but it's so fucking obvious by that point that she almost lets herself think it. Like, I don't think she's ignorant of this. I think she's choosing to ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is otherwise very socially cognizant of what's going on.
So MaoMao is like, all right, well, now that all this is out in the open, there's no way you're escaping execution. I can blunt this for you and the people you care about as best I can, so do what I say.
Basically cut out the middle part of your story where you're doing all this to cover up from the fact that you
killed what would now be the crown prince.
Yeah, and combine that with your motivation that Adao is being kicked out. Although everyone in this conversation is aware that Adao really has no place being a courtesan, let alone anything else. So her prolonging her job here is beyond anyone but the Emperor's power. And it's clear it's even reaching the ends of the Emperor's power, because fun thing about politics, just because you sit on the throne doesn't mean you're beholden to where power derives. So
no man rules alone.
Yeah. So the Emperor can only keep the charade that this woman who lost her womb in childbirth 20 years ago and has not bared a child since and is approaching 35, the age where women suddenly can't give birth to anything. Don't look that up. That's a known fact. Ladies, I'm sorry. I know our viewership. Lady.
Lady singular.
The other thing I kind of like is, again, going back to the whole, the person they found in the moat was tied into this in a convoluted way. The conclusion that's ultimately drawn to is that it was probably assisted suicide, and the clawing on the hands was probably regret. Though there is some little lingering mystery of it, but the characters seem to mostly agree it was suicide, because Adao literally pours one out for that maid that kind of broke the whole thing open.
Shouldn't have done that. Keep your mouth shut. Don't think about the plot. That's how you end up dead.
Yep. So Feng Ming is executed, as we alluded to before. MaoMao goes to stare at the moon on the walls and has a drink with Lady Aduo,
who then expositions most of what we just talked about. Honestly.
Yeah, most of these conclusions that we've drawn is tied together by Ado, assessing and acknowledging that I've been more knowledgeable and culpable in this than most of us have been willing to admit up to now.
And the main thing is, MaoMao did all this so that Feng Ming could lie to Aoduao before she died. But the one thing was that made her motive being, if I did this, she wouldn't be kicked from her position. But Aoduao comes to drink with MaoMao and goes yeah, no, I was always going to get kicked out. I am physically incapable of doing my job and have been physically incapable for 20 years. This was insane to keep this going so long. So she did something else. And it's nebulous whether or not she knows what that was, and that's the whole thing. Also, she's getting a nice retirement package to go live in the southern palace, so she's not even being kicked out into the street. It's just lap of luxury.
Which again speaks to the relationship between Adao and the Emperor.
Yeah, she's essentially being golden parachuted.
I love this relationship because what it is they were nursemaids, so they were effectively a sibling relationship, and then they were married. And the way Adao talks about it, she was not super keen into him as a romantic interest. She was just no, he's my brother, my friend. But I understand we needed to bone. Yeah. And I do that for my bro, And frankly, the second I was done having a womb, I could just chill out and be friends with my bro.
Oh my God.
Worked, and I could hook him up with some big titty bitches, and I could drink. It was great.
Wow.
He's about them big titty bitties.
And like the entire thing is like, I've been with the Emperor in like a non-romantic context for like 15 years now. And frankly, I like that relationship better.
No words.
Yeah, I think as to knowing what the big secret cut out of the public confession, I think she genuinely doesn't know, because I think she has the same opinion as MaoMao has. If I don't think about it, I don't have to address it.
Yeah.
She could probably put 2 and 2 together. I don't think she wants to.
I don't think she wants to, because that might implicate her in something she might have done.
Yep, but MaoMao slips off the wall. Just in case MaoMao didn't want to think about this enough, as she's climbing down from the wall, she slips and lands in a drunk Jinshi's lap.
And I love this, because this is my evidence that MaoMao is the stupidest person in this manga. Because after being in Jinshi's lap for what is confirmed by the panels at the end of the manga to be multiple hours, this man has no balls.
Yeah. Look, denial is a river in Africa and a powerful force.
The end of volume, all 3 end of volume bonus chapters are dedicated to going like, yeah, no, they were just cuddling for like 3.5 hours in the middle of the night before he woke up.
They cuddled for most of the night. It was actually really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, well, guess I'm stuck here because don't want to move him. Cat rules.
Yep. Cat rules. Cat rules, but MaoMao's the cat.
That's the secret.
Yes, if you lay on your cat, the cat will stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
I can confirm that this is not the case. If you don't, you will be bloody.
Again, don't understand it.
Oh, but your cat is so cute, though.
She is. She's a precious creature. But Aduel goes on her way. She has one last tender moment with Li Shu.
Mm-hmm.
It's still weird to think about how legally...
Yeah.
Who the mother-in-law is.
Legally, that mother-daughter dynamic is the other way around, but we're not thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Out of sight, out of mind.
You say we're not thinking about it. The manga, every second it goes, has to go by. By the way, the previous emperor was a pedophile, and we're all creeped out by that. Like,
honestly, I admire the manga for not shying away from that.
Yeah, not turning a blind eye to it. This is a thing that happened, and it was fucked up.
We have the increasingly regular cut-ins of Jinshi Angst.
Jinshi Angst. Delicious. Love it.
This particular session is flavored with, all right, since Fengming is now dead, we have to punish the rest of her bloodline, because that's how imperial regent politics works.
I mean, in all fairness, you do that so that there's no retribution. Yeah. Like, it's not.
No, I understand.
It's not illogical. It's just horrifying. Like, it makes sense.
No, like, yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, you know how, like, we opened up this manga with MaoMao getting kidnapped by some slave traders and her getting sold into service at the Inner Palace? Not actually slave trade, by the way. We abolished that, but whatever. Turns out they were actually associates of Feng Ming's family, so technically, MaoMao is an asset of that family, and since we're purging all those assets, she has to be purged too? But I don't want to do that because I like her.
Aww.
And MaoMao's like, I don't want to get purged out of here. Then I'd have to go back to the pleasure district and get sold as a whore by that creepy money-grubbing granny.
Okay, MaoMao, can you just say what you want in straight language?
No.
Oh, well, I guess if you love something, you need to let it free.
I mean, to be fair, Jinshi's being really stupid here, too.
Ballless bastard.
I feel
No, Jacob, that's the point. They're both equally stupid.
Yeah, they're both idiots.
The chapter's literally called Miscommunication.
I read the chapter title and I'm like, God, I hope this isn't going to do what I think it did what I thought it was going to do. And I will say, this is a very necessary chapter. This needed to be here because, you know that comment I made about how it's easy to forget that MaoMao is like nearly mute and almost never says anything out loud? This chapter is to illustrate that idea. It's still annoying. I hate this kind of, because it's like, you can do miscommunication as a plot point in a story in a way that isn't annoying. This ain't it, Chief.
If it were just the two of them, it would be excusable. It's the fact there is a third party who is fully aware of both of their internal thoughts.
Neither person wants this.
Yeah, and Gao Hun, I think.
Gao
yeah,
Shun.
the
Gao
soldier
Shun.
who works
The
for him.
soldier.
Yeah. Jinchi's like main attendant. He should have said something.
Okay, he's like the only one who's been able to observe both of their interactions and knows that something is happening and that no one is
So why is he only internal monologuing too?
Because you see the hierarchy.
the hierarchy.
Pecking order.
What?
Pecking order.
No, because Sam, in order for that to be true, that would mean that I've already forgot his name. Gao Shun.
Gao Shun.
Gao Shun. Gao Shun would have to be afraid of talking back to Jinshi, which he's not.
He's
Objectively
explicitly
not, you're
He will call Jinshi out on his shit. Why didn't he this time?
Because we needed a big dramatic thing for the. I love that the end of the volume here explained that this plot point was the end of the first novel, and I'm like, yeah, obviously you have the end of the first novel being, and now she's volunteering to do this job.
When was this written, and how close was it to 50 Shades of Grey coming out?
I will say again, there is the character utility of illustrate, because it's like Jinchi will usually say things out loud, but like MaoMao has her guard up around Jinchi all the time because he's constantly flirting with her. So like him shutting up is him trying to be respectful, and I do like that Gao Shun like recognizes that it's like, no, I should stop referring to MaoMao as a toy, because he's actually being mature and not treating her like one. Even if he's sulking like a child, he's at least mature enough to treat her like the person that she is. That's a cool moment, but it is still really annoying that we have to go through this rigmarole.
Indeed.
Wow. That's telling.
Yeah.
Amazing.
She gets
Same
sent back.
brainwave.
She gets sent back to the pleasure district, where unfortunately she is 16 years of age, which means she must sell her body because she is ready for it.
The one solace that she has is that the money that she was able to make with the food taster job is enough to forestall her for now, but that's only going to last so long. The whole thing about like MaoMao and dealing with being in the pleasure district is that she owes money to the granny who runs Vertigarn, or however you say it.
Verdigris.
And the way that MaoMao would have to pay it back would be...
How does she owe money again? Remind me. Is it just because she's taking care of her since her father wasn't able to?
Yeah, being taking care of her, and like the if you don't work, you don't eat mantra.
She's got room and board.
Yeah, she's been accumulating room and board when she's been unable to do like jobs.
And this and the Madam of Verdigris is very penny pinching, very, keeping her eye on the books.
Yeah.
And she's like, you are going to pay me back in profit for everything I did for you, girl.
She is not going to let a child starve on the street, but she will proceed to extract her cost in silver at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I do like is that MaoMao finds the work undesirable, but is not bemoaning the profession, because like she has sisters she considers as like, I understand the job, not for me, but like,
yeah,
I have to make $1. Like it's like, I do like that it doesn't go into like, oh, what a disgraceful thing that's beneath me. It's like, I'd prefer not to, but like I'm running out of options.
And I mean, to a large degree, there is the level of if she runs out of options, she's not going to like run away from like her responsibilities. She doesn't want to do it, but I think it's fair to say if she really had to and the rest of the plot didn't happen, she probably would have accepted that, well, I got to pay my debt, so here we go.
Mm-hmm. You always pay your
debt. Which again is a really respectable way to treat to treat professions and people who have not traditionally been treated right historically, both at the time and in hindsight.
MaoMao in her internal monologue and the narration of the manga will never hesitate to say, Verdigris being so highbrow and fancy has the luxury of treating its girls well.
But the situation was bad.
This is not the standard.
Whilst not demonizing the people who were victims of the system, top to bottom, frankly. Because, I mean, the manga doesn't want you to hate the madam either. She seems more quirky than in any way villainous.
You're supposed to... Ironically, she's kind of a Mr. Krabs figure.
Yeah.
She is vilified because she is the person in charge at the moment. So she is extracting value from the labor of others. But she got there because she worked her way up, creating value of her own until she could no longer do it. And that's just how capitalism works, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
First working night back in the Pleasure District. Thankfully, MaoMao doesn't have to take any clients to bed. She is simply coming along as a servant to a party where the actual prime entertainment on display are the 3 premier courtesans of Verdigris who we met last time.
Her surrogate sisters.
Yeah, her surrogate big sisters. And she's just going around making sure that no cups run dry. And
but Sam, you skipped over the most important part, where the manga plays a little trick where it's just oh man, Jinshi's really sad. Gao Shun's gonna do something to cheer him up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's cut to a completely unrelated party in the whore district.
I love it. My man. I know that would cheer you up.
I bought you some whores.
Who's got the money to rent out all 3 of these ladies on one night? An afternoon of tea with any of them is a year's worth of silver for the average laborer. Oh, well, I'm not going to think about it too hard. Anyway, I'm going to go fill up some cups. Who's this sad guy? Jinshi!
Hey, I'm not going to think about it too hard. I'm going to, while working, flirt with my boyfriend.
Yeah, pretty much.
MaoMao, asexual in a lot of scenes. This scene in particular is just aw, sad boy. Gonna flirt with you. Aw, look how sad you are.
I think that's her kink. She loves the sad boys.
Not necessarily a romantic.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I was gonna mention that. The thing is, I really do think Ace, because when they have romantic moments, MaoMao is actually receptive, like in this scene, which honestly feels like the direction their relationship could go. I really hope that's how they continue to frame it, because I like that.
I don't know.
I love how MaoMao starts teasing him, because the instant she recognizes Jinshi, all the sympathy she had for this poor depressed guy at the party. He goes to grab her. He goes to tenderly grab her wrist and pull her closer. She snatches her hand away. No touching the entertainment. What?
But I wanna.
But we know each other. I don't know you, sir. I'm working.
But I want to touch the entertainment. Fine, just a little. And I'm God damn, this manga's great. And I just stood up and clapped. I'm just the fingertips. I can't even.
It is spectacular.
This is the most Sun their reactions get, because they the reason I say aromantic or asexual is because she doesn't normally come off this Sun, but this is 100% Sun.
I legit got the vibe in this chapter she was getting off on the power dynamic being switched.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
She was finally, I can corner him.
Finally, I can acknowledge he's super fucking hot, because I say that in my head all the time.
I'm just saying. She knows.
Well, it is an objective fact that he's super fucking hot.
Yes.
Yes,
now
and that's exactly how she thinks it in her head, is that it's an objective fact.
She desperately tries to phrase it like that to herself.
Well, I mean, objectively, she does know how to identify beauty. I mean, she kind of works in that industry, so yeah, I trust her opinion. Also, I agree with her opinion, obviously.
Yes.
Really, you don't say.
But Jinshi's like, man, this is where you ended up, huh? I mean, I wouldn't mind coming back to the palace. Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that? Why don't I buy your contract?
Oh.
Yes.
Why didn't either of us think of this before?
Aha!
Oh.
Gaoshun could have said something, but he didn't.
He didn't for some reason.
No,
For some reason.
Gaoshun just bought out a bunch of whores.
I don't know. I don't know if he's looking out for his best interest, really. I don't know.
Like, here's the thing. The implication is that he did this on purpose to get MaoMao and Jinchi to talk again. But he could have just said something when they were standing in the same room together before any of this nonsense happened.
Gaoshun secretly also wanted to be around the women.
I mean, yes.
We're pretty sure he is actually a eunuch, though.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't get it all. I don't know.
Look, you can still appreciate the smell of flowers if you can't walk on the grass.
Uh-huh.
Fair enough.
We do get the just the fingertips bit.
I'm not even kidding. That is what happens. Just the fingertips. Yeah, that's fine.
Fine. He puts his fingers to her lips and then kisses the same spot, and gives her this cheeky grin. She's like, son of a bastard, motherfucker.
The worst part is her sisters see this and they are just ripping her a new one. They're working is the thing. They are breaking off from work.
To tease their little sister, yes.
Listen. The clientele probably found that endearing enough that they considered it part of the show.
Well, it's not.
The clientele is Jinsei's coterie. No,
coterie,
yeah. It's his people. We don't know that. It's never said, but it has to be.
Yeah, this party was clearly for him. That's what the twist is supposed to be.
Do you think MaoMao's sisters immediately clocked in on that he's the bigwig here? And this is like, ooh, you just immediately saddled up to the big spender here. What are you doing, girl? What are you doing?
Considering how experienced and intelligent in this section, we meet up with them again, and it's established that these three know what they're doing. They're very intelligent. I feel like they probably are fully aware of what's going on. They're teasing MaoMao because they know what's up.
They don't probably know the inner court thing, but they're well, this party's for him.
Yeah, they don't know the details, but they're aware of the meaning of it.
Also, he's in the seat of honor. If you didn't notice how the room's laid out. But MaoMao and Jinsei just don't acknowledge that at all. But
nope.
They're both so dumb.
They are incredibly dense and we love them. But MaoMao's contract is bought out. The granny is immediately like, yes, royal money. And MaoMao's like, all right, what's in it for me? Have this bug with a fungus. Oh my God.
I'll love you forever.
I'll love you forever, said at fungus. I love the look on Jinji's face.
She's dancing in the background with the box I
my
got
God.
a weird fungus.
You're giving this as a gift. You are unaware of what I would do for this. I know things.
Oh God.
Enough to teach a class on them, even.
I love that. Okay, wait. We gotta save that for when that happens.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is the end of volume 1, this is the end of the novel. I forget where this takes place in the manga, but it's a good enough break point as any, I would imagine.
Indeed. We will be right back with more shenanigans after this. And welcome back to the show, folks, where last we left our junior investigator, doctor, maid, MaoMao. We're last with
Hopeless
MaoMao.
Romantic.
Hopeless romantic.
She
Not in the normal way you phrase that.
Her contract had been bought out from Verdigris, and she was returned to the court. Not the inner court, the outer court, because she's Jinshi's personal maid now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he is
she was going.
Gentleman.
She was going to be an assistant of a higher rank than simply a maid, but being a secretary involves things more than knowing what poisons are, so she failed the test horribly.
I love that so much. It's like, wow, MaoMao is so smart. She has so much information. No, she's just really autistic about this one topic.
But
I think they were both very disappointed, yes.
I have my hyperfixation and nothing else exists in the world. The dead look in her eye. Because it's like, the worst part of all is she genuinely seemed to try. Like she was mad about the fact that she put effort into it and still failed horribly.
I tried. I opened that book. It was very boring and I hated it.
So she's mad, yes.
MaoMao's just happy with her weird fungus bug. Quickly establishes dominance on the other servants in the palace because they're just like, how dare you be close to Jinshi? Oh, I'm just a poor leprous wretch who he's taken such incredible pity out on with his vast and generous heart. Oh yes, Jinshi is so great. We're going to leave now. Suck.
You wouldn't say that he was interested in me because you wouldn't be calling him a pedophile, would you? Oh, no, obviously not. And I'm like, oh, well. MaoMao's got some self-image issues, I guess.
Well, we knew that. The other thing that I really like is you have, like, disposable head secretary lady in the center, then background character, obviously a character because she's the only one with a face.
Yep.
I know who to pay attention to.
Yep.
It's the one on the far left.
I love that because you see that mostly in like manga adapted from novels. Because a novel doesn't have to explain to you these women all look different. But we'll later go, and one of them was important. The manga has to draw them distinctly and be like, shit, this one's coming up later.
This one's important. Fine, I'll put effort in.
And then you get Yu-Gi-Oh! Character syndrome.
Why does your hair look like that?
We do have some brief slice of life fun where MaoMao sees Jinshi at all hours of the day and just goes, it's not fair. It's not fair. Why is he this hot? Why is he this hot at every hour? He literally woke up like this.
I love that her takeaway to seeing him like fresh out of bed, whining like a child to his nursemaid to feed him more, please, and goes, my God, he lives a blessed existence.
They put a lot of detail into his lips as he's going to put that spoon in his mouth. That's all I'm saying.
MaoMao was like 2 thought bubbles away from going like, I'd feed him. Wait, nope.
The other thing I like is, what if I turn his scent into perfume? It's like a revelation panel. Like this is gonna be a plot point or something. It's not.
My God,
could make so much money that way.
Anyway, can I live in the stable? Why? I need more room and manure to grow medicine. No.
Yes, medicines.
Well, she doesn't say the part that she needs more room, which is the entire. This comes up a few times too, this miscommunication of Jinshi going like, yeah, none of the servants actually like living here, so we've got a bunch of empty rooms. Oh, so I can live in the stables?
That is not what I said.
I can't have one of my attendants living with animals. You understand why that's not a good look, right? I guess you've told me I can't have anything I want.
Yep.
I hate both of these people.
I think they're revolutionary.
The only character
that is everything you need to know about Matt and Jay, folks.
Okay.
The only character I like is Old Granny, who seems to be edging on this entire conflict because she gets something out of it. She's like, this is kind of funny.
Yeah. The Jinchi's like, yeah, Granny maid. Okay, Jay. We have to address this. I love these characters. These characters are a lot of things.
You're about to say something I don't like.
This is not revolutionary at all. This is as basic as it gets. I love her too. This is as basic as it gets.
No.
It is well executed basic, but Jay, this is basic.
No, Jacob, you don't understand. Because she likes it, it's suddenly groundbreaking and deserves awards.
I didn't say it didn't deserve awards. I'm just saying this is really basic.
That's a wish, Matt.
Anyway, we have the one we have to introduce our villain,
our next set of characters.
Yeah, we have to introduce MaoMao, but older and cooler.
Yeah. I mean, kind of.
Shadow the Hedgehog, MaoMao.
Yes, the new consort.
Not even
no.
I'm sorry.
MaoMao's real one, true love.
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry. You meant the older woman, not the character who looks like the Shadow the Hedgehog version of MaoMao.
Correct.
Yes.
She has a brief interaction with another servant in the outer court who smells like medicine and is very abrasive towards her and seems to just dislike her at first blush. I'm sure this person will not be important later.
I think she recognizes her as one of the attending ladies to another consort.
I'm not sure.
It seemed to be a point of like recognition.
No. I think I remember this because this is not a big plot point. She says that she looks familiar, and she later realizes that she reminds her of one of the ladies in waiting. I think. Well, I at least I'm thumbing through the manga, so we'll find where that pays off eventually, I'm sure. I don't think it's a major plot point. I feel like I would have remembered it. She does like, I feel like I recognize you during their like initial interaction.
Yes, when in reality she has discovered her rival.
Yeah. Of course, the audience recognizes her because she was the character on the far left.
But MaoMao is recruited by Jinshi to train the new consort.
Well, she was requested.
She was requested.
Yeah, Jinshi's actually the messenger. You're right. She was requested by Kyokyo and Lihua.
I love this because like this whole chapter is like they don't tell you what this class is for, and it's like, and at first it's like the like immediate thing that is framed is like new consort needs to go to a class. Okay, what is MaoMao teaching this new consort? And then it's like, oh wait, no, all of the consorts will be here. What is MaoMao teaching? And like rapidly it devolves into you realize what's actually going on.
My favorite bit at the end is because the two consorts who really wanted this were Gyoku and Lihua. And they were like, yeah, we need to learn what you know from living in the pleasure district your entire life. Li Shu is not prepared for this in any way and leaves very sick.
Oh, poor Li Shu.
And then we get introduced to new consort Lulan, who is the Shadow the Hedgehog version of MaoMao if Shadow the Hedgehog was different from Sonic in that he had tits.
Wow.
I just really like Latina's Sonic. Though I do like how Jinshi's trying to be like, let me take a look at your teaching materials. No! These are the secrets of women that you must never know!
Well, class, I'm going to teach you some shit. Let me just look and get a down low of all of you. Well, Gyuku, yeah, you know what this is about. Liwa, you also know about this too. Lishu, probably a bit too advanced for your level. And then the new girl. I heard a rumor that she's the same age as me. So she's down to fuck. And that is my favorite fucking quote in our entire reading. How about just going like, she's the same age of me. Of course she wants to fuck.
I'm just saying, I don't think she's ace, Jacob. She's just very, very
Or
guarded.
at least she knows she is of the age where she should want to fuck.
Yes.
That's why I think she's ace, because I don't think she does.
MaoMao's like, all right, here are your packets. Here is the handout.
Turn to page 3, and then it's the reactions of all of the consorts and their main attendants, and it's the best set of 4 panels of all time.
Yes.
I love at the end where they're just kind of like awash in the new information, and Liwa's just over the side pantomiming. I'm like, did MaoMao teach her to cup the balls?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Gyokyo is so happy about this.
Gyokyo is having the time of her life. She's just ana-anaing the entire time.
Meanwhile, poor Liwa is just dead.
Oh.
This poor kid.
Deceased.
No. Lishu. Liwa's very much on board.
Yeah.
Liwa's just like, yes, I suppose I could incorporate this into my tech.
Meanwhile, Lulan is just like...
She looks like a fucking plat player who's looking at a VOD for the first time. Like, I guess I could learn from this.
Meanwhile, Lulan's whole thing is just like, yes, we do things differently. We do things differently in the North. Pay the girl her money. I will go on being better than you in every way, MaoMao, even though we look similar enough that if we did a weird Prince and the Pauper situation, it would not be just...
I just think Gyokyo's reaction is my favorite, because she's like, we're going to get out of our rut.
I'm going to have so much sex with my husband.
No, yes. Gyokyo, you're supposed to get into the rut.
Yeah.
What?
You're supposed to get him into your rut.
Oh my.
Now they must practice on each other. That would be an interesting to like.
Oh my.
I don't think that's going to help.
No.
It doesn't seem opposed to the idea.
I don't think that practice is going to be really. I don't think you're practicing the same muscles.
It's your Chinese strap on.
That's how you get warmed up.
I'm just saying, you gotta remember the first part of our reading. They did some practicing. They got a little too much into.
Oh yeah,
edibles.
I forgot. They ate too much chocolate that they all finger banged each other. Yeah.
Yes.
No. That was Gyokyo's ladies in waiting.
I'm just saying, canonically, that's what happened.
That is what happened. Yes.
Like,
talking about how this manga calmed down, not this chapter.
And MaoMao's like, excellent. I can't wait to get my hands all over that fat sack of silver that I earned by doing this job. I'm going to grab that fat sack and take it home.
Because as I've established, I am not interested into sacks or anybody who has them. Wait.
Anyway, now that was fun. Now time for more Jinshi angst.
Yeah, we need intrigue.
Yeah. Something involving the Emperor, something with him going like, I could never do math or tactics or power. I only have this beautiful face. That's all I have. But I must do what I can to grasp onto the path in life that I desire by following his whims, the Emperor.
Okay, Jinshi.
All right. Yes, I've read the Dresden Files. I know Thomas. Shut up.
Yeah. You're just monologuing to yourself. Shut up, boy.
We need to get to a storehouse fire that is going to be insanely important later.
It's so plot relevant.
This is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle level of convoluted connected scenes. Like I was half expecting Moriarty to pop up in the background going like, home?
What do you mean? Moriarty does pop up.
I mean, yes.
Except Moriarty and everything.
Except that's not Moriarty. Moriarty is the woman who looks kind of like a man, but not as much like a man as the other woman who looks like a man.
You're right.
MaoMao discovers the ancient secret that flour is flammable.
Yes.
Well, apparently she already knew that, too, is the thing. Like,
she just felt the need to demonstrate, and in doing so, burn off
Li-Han's hair.
Yeah, burn off Li-Han's eyebrow. Full Adam Savage. Am I missing an eyebrow?
This is simply presented as, the guy who clerks the storehouse came in for a smoke and shouldn't have lit up because the flour aerosolized.
Man, this is a really nice, intricately carved ivory pipe. I could sell this. No, it would be noticed that it's missing. Fine, I'll polish it up and give it back to him once he's out of his coma and burn ward. MaoMao only does the moral thing if it would be unprofitable to do the immoral thing.
I mean, we all know what MaoMao's about.
Yeah, exactly.
That fat sack.
Of money.
Fat sack.
That fat sack that she can't wait to empty.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna talk about more fat sacks in this next chapter.
Indeed. I love the dynamic between MaoMao and Lihaku. Literally just cat and puppy.
They are 100% like a cat and a puppy that like cohabitate.
They are best friends, but one hates the other.
Well, they're best friends, but one of them's a cat.
Yes.
That's how all relationships with cats work.
I can attest.
I'm gonna steal your cat.
You will do no such thing. You would not survive.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, that's one completely like just we're filling chapter count here. Unimportant mystery solved. Time for a food poisoning case.
This is another completely unconnected, not part of any other case, filler chapter, obviously.
I do love how Gaoshun gets MaoMao involved, because he's just like, yes, I want you to investigate this case of food poisoning. That's lame. It has to do with blowfish. On God! I want some.
It is also worth noting that just because I'm thumbing through the manga as we're going through this, they do keep dropping hints of a new character.
Yeah,
what Matt mentioned about one of the light novel volumes ending, boy, they sure do suddenly start introducing a new villain as soon as that. The
second we're in volume 2, it's suddenly, hey, we've always talked about this backstory character for you, right, MaoMao? He existed in the previous volume, right?
Okay, yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because I was like, whom?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who had that reaction to this character. I'm like, I don't think you were no, you were not in the previous. This is
Listen, it's been a hell of a time. It's been a tight schedule of a week. I was like, I don't know, maybe this guy was in the last reading and I forgot about him, but no, who is this guy?
No, who is this guy? That's a totally fair reaction, Sam, because my immediate response was he in the previous? Do I just not remember the guy with the monocle?
Because they introduce him and MaoMao having a flashback to him as if you should know who he is.
Yeah, but that's his first appearance. And he will pop up basically constantly through the rest of this, slowly going from a background shadow figure into being an actual character.
Like, we also find out that his motivation is to find MaoMao.
Yeah.
And he does a really shitty job of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, apparently this is going on for, years, is it? That he's been looking for MaoMao? She's been avoiding him because he's a creep. And people know he's a creep, and they know that she's avoiding him, but for some reason he's only introduced now.
Everything that we see, this is not a very large area, and MaoMao is apparently not hard to find.
Well, the thing is, the way it comes off, especially the more we get introduced to this character, it doesn't seem like his primary motivation is to find MaoMao. It seems like his primary motivation is to toy with MaoMao. So
I don't know if it was just toying. Like, he has like made some advances and said some creepy stuff that even like her surrogate sisters are like, dude, this guy is creepy.
It's not just the surrogate sisters, even the madam turns this guy away, which is kind of extreme. But we are getting a little ahead of ourselves, though.
We got some stuff to talk about him when he actually gets introduced. But yeah, so she's got to solve a completely unrelated murder. Oh, did I say murder? Yeah,
poisoning.
Yeah.
Poisoning. He's alive but comatose.
You got another oopsie.
I will say this one is my least favorite of the cases because I don't know. Maybe
the solution is aggressively obvious.
Yeah, I just could not like track it.
It doesn't. The solution is he was poisoned. It's just the solution was poisoned.
Yeah, and the culprit is aggressively like the thing is. This is to set up the larger thing. Otherwise, this is legitimately filler.
There was no reason for MaoMao to be brought in as the expert. Because it's literally the food he ate was poisoned because it was a type of seaweed that needs to have the poison washed off of it. But MaoMao explains this to people who should know that's how food works.
But it's winter. Where could the seaweed have come from? I mean, this is a big country. We have towns in the southern latitude that can harvest seaweed in the winter.
What? And also here is a brother character who looks aggressive and mean, who comes in screaming at everybody to leave. Even
what are you cops doing in my kitchen?
Yeah,
this is Scooby-Doo ass villain.
Stay away from my poisoned seaweed in the corner. I mean, my regular seaweed in the corner. You don't have a warrant.
We explicitly do. We're from the Emperor's court. Oh
my.
Yeah, so it's literally the solution to this is MaoMao eats the poisoned seaweed. Or she's going to eat the poisoned seaweed.
And then is forced to throw it up because everyone is angry at her that she pulled this crap again.
And then she's like, well, if I don't show any symptoms, it defeats the purpose, doesn't it? We just believe you.
The panel of her eating the seaweed is so cute. She's so happy.
There's also a couple of other panels of her trying to steal more seaweed.
I'm just saying, this girl really, there's one thing that really, really brings her joy, and that's poison. And you try to take that away from her. You monsters.
It's so cute. She's like,
Numb.
It's
so
just
actually, you guys are the bad guys.
It's just a court case for a murder, except Jinshi has to go in the middle there going like, MaoMao, you don't have to poison yourself. The burden of proof is so fucking low. It's
but
me. You need to convince me. I'll just believe you.
But I didn't wanna. You can't put baby in a box. That baby's gonna eat that poison whether you want her to or not.
Like a regular baby.
Yes.
But yeah, the brother confesses like a Detective Conan villain the second his little like puzzle box room is solved.
Yep.
Although in this case it makes sense because it's like, we found the murder weapon that you purchased.
Ah, crap. All right, you got me.
Well, time to be executed.
Yep.
I love when we're just casually told that this guy got executed off screen.
I know.
It's largely implied that if you do something within the Imperial Court, you're going to get executed. I mean...
He murdered his brother.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, are we supposed to be shocked by that?
Honestly, this is one of the most... His brother is technically still alive, but he functionally murdered his brother. This is one of the most justified executions.
Well, functionally murdered because he's in a coma. Like he hasn't woken up yet. I didn't think.
And he may or may not ever
not
wake
by the
up.
end of our reading.
Yeah, he might have permanent brain damage poison, like that kind of deal.
Yeah. So in all honesty, this is one of the most justifiable executions in this manga.
What did his brother do again? Like, what was his function, his job?
His job was very important. He oversaw the storehouse that lit on fire, and he wasn't there to stop the clerk from lighting it on fire because he was too busy being in a coma from being poisoned. I'm sure those two things don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
We also, this is where we get introduced to our mystery man, because the framing for this is this case was brought to Jinshi from this guy who's just like, hey, by the way, I used to have a cool time, me and this other guy. You know that whorehouse, Verdigray? Yeah, there was a woman in there beyond all respect. She was the most sought-after courtesan, but unfortunately I got into a bidding war with this other guy, and her price got way too through the roof. So I did a little thing to lower her value, and bada bing! What do you mean by that? Solve this murder for me, and then I'll tell you.
Like, what the heck?
Then the murder is solved by MaoMao, and then he goes, I'm not going to tell you.
Fuck this guy.
Do this other puzzle box for me.
Maybe you should ask somebody in that life to explain it to you. Jinshi, my man, okay. I know you're ostensibly supposed to be a eunuch, but when the entire point of something is that it's unobtainable and has never been touched by anyone before, what devalues it?
But
I will say, just because of the nature of what the thing is,
it sends Mao out to a very dark place, and she's just like,
it does, yeah.
At the detriment of Jinshi's character, I do like it did instill in me a sense of dread of, is this really going where I think it's going? Because it really seems like, and like as it keeps crawling towards that, at least me as Jinshi is an idiot for not being able to figure it out immediately. Or honestly,
is he just really sheltered? He might just also be really
you can give him the same grace you keep giving MaoMao.
I was just gonna say, you could honestly give him the same, because in all honesty, there are certain scenes where it seems like he's trying not to come to the obvious conclusion. So
which would be better if he didn't take two hint things, because the other thing is this whole other case given by Lacan before he heads off after not paying him for the first one. It's the thing. He says hey, up in the mountains, there's literally the plot of a Detective Conan chapter. Not the plot of a Detective Conan chapter. This literally is just the plot of one.
This Professor Layton ass chapter.
This is literally just, what if we went to a weird house in the mountains with a secular family, a secluded family, not a secular family.
Either or.
Yeah. Who had a weird puzzle box house built by their dead grandfather who died of, or their dead father, who died of lead poisoning under mysterious circumstances?
Maybe? I don't know.
This is another one where by the end of the reading they don't ever say one way or the other if there is anything suspicious about this guy's death.
They say it in the same breath where it's just it sure is convenient to whoever wanted this that all these things happened.
Yeah,
it's strongly implied.
The thing about it is, this is the least suspicious of all, and it could have just been a coincidence, but with all of the other things that were not coincidences, it makes you think it gets you in the conspiratorial mindset, basically.
This chapter, okay.
There's no discussing this chapter other than just saying the ending, by the way, because it's literally MaoMao solving the puzzle box the entire chapter.
I didn't dislike it as much as the poison seaweed chapter, but this is still just literally an escape room prompt.
This isn't an Apothecary Diaries chapter, is my problem.
Yeah, no. That's exactly my opinion. I enjoyed reading this chapter. It shouldn't be an Apothecary Diaries, but it is required for the big twist that happens later.
Because it's legitimately MaoMao, who is super interested in a very specific thing, is suddenly just good at all puzzles. And the puzzles she's good at are things for people working together. To be a military man in this world, you have to pass bureaucrats exams. You aren't a stupid person. And the idea that this first grade level puzzle wasn't solvable is kind of
Professor Layton ass, escape room ass, D&D temple room ass. Because what it is this blacksmith this metallurgist who provided material to the palace, died without passing on his secret to his sons. And in the will, he gave the eldest son the workshop, the middle son a dresser, and the youngest son a fishbowl, and said, "I want you all to sit together and have tea like you used to." And
that's the secret to the secret technique he didn't pass on.
And MaoMao's like, aha! If you put the fishbowl on this part of the dresser that isn't bleached from the sun and fill it with water, it will concentrate the light to hit that lock. Good thing we're at the precise time of year for this to happen.
It just puzzle boxes from there.
No, the insanity.
The beam of light will hit this lock, delivering enough energy into it to melt the solder inside so the key will work.
Well, it's even more insane than that. The solder melts inside a keyhole into a cast of a different key in the hole so that you can use that key to unlock the other parts of the drawer. And the drawers are different sizes to show what amount of the metal that is contained within you need to mix to make the proprietary blend that this guy was known for, which, spoiler alert for how this all connects, it's a proprietary blend because it's really shitty and melts at a super low temperature.
It is the worst bronze that you've ever seen.
Hey, but it's his. So
the fact that the reason it's necessary for the plot is because the only thing it could ever be used for is this kind of Rube Goldberg murder plot is kind of funny.
Like this entire murder plot, which, spoiler alert, that's what all of these are connected in, hinges on the fact that this guy found a way to scam the Empire out of metallurgy because he'd make highly detailed things out of a low melting point metal. That was just garbage.
Slightly higher than room temperature.
A candle can melt it, is the thing.
This guy found a way to make bronze so bad the Hellenistic Greeks are laughing at him. They don't even know he exists, and they're laughing.
Yeah, but there's a whole thing about how the brothers don't get along, and it doesn't really matter because the moral of the story is the little brother doesn't tell any of them that he figured out the secret because they were jerks and don't deserve anything.
Period.
Kind of based, but ultimately, God,
it is.
But not enough was done to him that felt like narratively it was deserved.
Yeah,
kind of based.
The older brother just seemed like a fine guy.
And the middle brother seems kind of pissed off that his inheritance is worthless because it's screwed to the floor of his brother's inheritance.
The fact that the two older brothers were kind of pissed off about this stupid escape room bullshit is not totally unreasonable either.
Because it's stupid escape room bullshit.
Yep.
This is some goofy shit.
But apparently them being mad that Dad's dicking them along like this, and clearly Dad had a favorite amongst them. Apparently they're bad for feeling upset about that.
Yep.
Filial loyalty or something. It's ancient China.
Woohoo.
Oh.
Anyway.
That doesn't actually come up again.
You know what? I rescind me liking this chapter more than the seaweed one. This chapter.
No, I will still say I like that chapter more than the seaweed chapter because it might have been escape room bullshit, but at least it was fun. It wasn't, hello, only suspect who's acting absurdly suspicious. I know what the end of this chapter is.
I will say I did like this chapter more than the seaweed chapter because the seaweed chapter was just like an Encyclopedia Brown case where it's just hey, do you know this little bit of trivia? If not, fuck you. I'm smarter than you. That's why I'm Encyclopedia Brown. Also, my hired muscle is a girl. Progressive, ain't it?
Sure is.
That's an Encyclopedia Brown reference for the four people still alive who read those books.
Speaking of progressive, let's flirt with turning Jinshi into a cross-dresser.
I don't think he's a cross-dresser. This is just very...
we're gonna...
I don't think not respecting someone's gender identity is as progressive as you think it is, Sam.
No, posting.
Love it. I did enjoy this
to
chapter.
get in disguise, and they
For
make
reasons.
it ridiculously elaborate for some reason.
Love it.
Well, I do like how this subverted the classic, like, girls' night makeover, you know.
Yeah, the anti-glow up.
The anti-glow up.
I just love how this is like approached. I mean, he like basically is like being really snide with how he's approaching MaoMao for her disguise advice, since they bonded over, you know, when they had that heart to heart about like her freckles and the fact that she's actually pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a real bonding experience between the two of them.
All right, no commenter would smell that good. Take off your shirt, Gaoshan. Go get us go get us a robe out of the laundry that hasn't been laundered yet. Also, Granny Maid, go get me a bath of grease and salt so that we can put it in his hair.
Yes, your hair is too clean. You know, most
so
people
elaborate.
don't wash their hair that often.
This is so elaborate, and it's hard to talk about this because this entire thing is at the end. It's revealed Jinshi did this just to talk to MaoMao.
Yep. I also love the beefcake shot of Jinshi.
No, that was delicious.
Body fat.
That was delicious. I eat that up.
You know, Blue Box, where there was that scene where the main guy is just fucking ripped.
Yes.
And Bro Natsu is just on the sidelines going like, "Damn, you lift, bro."
Yeah.
Except six-pack.
Yeah.
Except it's this exact scene. Except Jinshi is a bureaucrat who doesn't do anything. So how is he this toned?
I don't know.
He is a debutante. He is a man of luxury. He sits around signing forms and drinking wine all day.
I can understand. He's been through soldier training, so he should have he should be in shape. He shouldn't be this
not
toned.
This in shape. Yeah. The funny thing is because I started watching the anime when we first did the episode. I fell off it because I fall off freaking everything, no matter how much I love it. And then I did the reading for this, and it got me to watch more of the anime. They actually try to justify it by showing Jinshi doing sword duel practice, and it's so random and out of place because they have to justify how cut he is.
He's just hot, ladies. It's okay.
Also, MaoMao specifically says take off your clothes, and he only takes off his shirt.
Well, yeah, he's ready to go, and he's prepared to take off exactly his shirt.
We can't reveal that he still has balls.
Yeah. Anyway, on this throwdown.
There is also the funny part of me where it's like they constantly talk about how feminine his face is, and it's like, well, I guess that I didn't think that was going to be the reveal, but I know one twist that's not going to happen now.
Mm.
I like how MaoMao has the crisis of faith midway through. It's like, I want to put lipstick on him.
I know, intrusive thought. No, I can't get it to go away. But
and she's
so hot.
And there is a reaction of her of like disgust and then kind of revulsion at herself for feeling disgust. It's just like, no, that ruined it. I regret doing this.
No, you don't, MaoMao. Live your truth. No regrets.
The shot of like Jinshi opening his eyes, not unaware that the lipstick is on, like, is something the matter? Nope, I am not gonna make the Iliad happen.
Yep. I melted. It was gorgeous.
There are multiple points after this where MaoMao will like pontificate about how wars have been fought over beauty.
Yeah, I'm
not... she is a threat to world peace.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna wrap some cloth around his guts so that he doesn't have an 8-pack.
Yeah.
Got to give him a little punch. Okay, we're gonna blotch up his complexion a little bit. God damn it, you've got the yaoi hands. I can't really do anything about that. Okay, I'm gonna put some makeup under your fingernails to make them dirty. Okay,
use dirt.
They messed up his breath and his voice with peppers.
And quick, drink this pepper sauce. Why? So that it'll inflame your throat and deepen your voice. You're too melodic.
Stuff these cotton balls in your mouth to like mess up your jawline. Okay. And at the end, MaoMao's just like, God damn it. Now he's just dad bod sexy. Fuck.
I felt represented.
I'm done.
So anyway, unfortunately now he looks too normal. They need to disguise MaoMao to escort him to the pleasure district because he has a meeting.
Granny Maid, it's revealed Granny Maid has been like setting this up all along.
Because Granny Maid also wants to get some. And yeah.
So they decorate MaoMao up like a princess who is being escorted by a commoner. Because they need the full role reversal.
Oh, yeah.
And it's literally just like they're both out of their element walking through the commoner district. And like MaoMao's just like, I want to go shopping. You can't go shopping. You are a fancy lady of a high court. I don't know why we did this. This seems really against everything. Do you want to talk about like what happens in brothels? Why do you want to know what happens in brothels? Internet? I mean, homework.
That's like literally his expression too. I love it. Asking for a friend?
Asking for a friend. So I was like, yeah, well, I mean, the only thing that really would devalue a high value courtesan like that was if someone else had her, or worst case scenario, she was stuck with a child. And MaoMao looks off into the distance, and I'm like, oh, there's going to be a trauma flashback. I can tell. And the next chapter did not disappoint, but we'll get there.
I do also.
Wait a minute. A high-valued courtesan of few words who shone with her intelligence and was lusted after by many men, who was then devalued by an untoward act of sexual violence and made with child. How old are you again, MaoMao?
When did all my dreams die?
Not thinking about it.
The other thing that I find, okay, so like one of the things that makes MaoMao as endearing as she is that she does have a poker face and she does have the like social intelligence to suss things out and know when not to press and et cetera, et cetera. That's the entire appeal of Apothecary Diaries all the way down. Meanwhile, she's walking away from this after she just basically clearly gave her own backstory, and it's like, I think I didn't show my true feelings. No, what the fuck do you mean you didn't show your true feelings?
I don't understand why she's so laissez-faire about walking around unescorted while dressed up like a princess, considering she's got the whole backstory about having to paint freckles on so that she doesn't get molested.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe there's the idea that she looks too fancy now.
Yeah. Possible.
That if someone attacked someone who looks like this, there'd be people who would care and investigate it.
People get executed for less. But yeah, so she drops off her not boyfriend at his dinner date, which Jinshi seems very unaware that his dinner date has been scheduled at a known brothel. Not as fancy as the Verdigris, but still a place you can fuck. And MaoMao's only reaction is, damn. Eunuchs like to get their dick wet too. Well, gotta get something wet.
I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. Anyway, bye, Jinshi.
She's definitely not jealous of a eunuch. She also doesn't have balls.
Yeah.
That's what they have in common.
Yeah.
So they'll bond over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have more classic misunderstanding, but no time for that because trauma flashback.
My favorite thing was this chapter starts with like flashback, horrible, like MaoMao as a little girl being mistreated by the horrible still living corpse that is her mother, and then it cuts to the first page, and it's the chapter page, and it's MaoMao. Cold sweat, sitting up in bed, and the chapter title just says syphilis, and I broke out laughing. I was just like, oh man, does she look like a zombie because like that's how she envisions her? Nope.
Syphilis.
Syphilis.
Nope. STDs.
Venereal diseases. I mean, it is the pleasure district.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yep.
But like everything untoward for a narrative, it was abolished last season, like the season before we started following it. No more slavery. The emperor's only interested in adult women.
Yeah.
All venereal diseases have been treated in the pleasure district.
Well,
what an enlightened
it's not
time
that
we
they've just
live
been
in.
treated. It's also like they were more judgy about like their clientele is how it's explained. So it's just kind of like they make sure that their clientele don't just drop tons of money. They also are clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the most, I would say, most justifiable example of that one, because Verdigris has gotten like wealthy enough that they're able to better protect the people who work there.
Actually, you're just protecting your investment. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, no, Granny is protecting her investment, but there is also the element of we get MaoMao attending to someone who's definitely not her mom. No way that could be the reveal later.
Wait. You mean that horrible shadow figure in MaoMao's nightmare from an event in her childhood isn't the same figure? Isn't that looks
suspiciously
person?
Similar to the patient in this chapter? Yeah.
Like many times in Apothecary Diaries, I'm legitimately confused. Was I not supposed to know that's her mom?
I did not pick up on that either, so I'm curious. I did not make that connection.
I thought it was pretty obvious it was her mom.
I did not.
I think you're supposed. I think it's supposed to be obvious.
It's literally she has the trauma flashback of her getting beaten by someone who doesn't want her because an unwanted child.
I think it's because in my brain, I had accepted that she was adopted by her pa, like as a baby. So it didn't make sense for her to have flashbacks. So when she had this flashback, I was just like, nope, that's not possible. That's how my brain works.
Okay.
I suppose, yeah.
But yeah, I think this falls into the same category of I think you're supposed to know but not want it to be true because it's horrible.
Yeah. And it's supposed to like tie in with the whole thing about Monocle Man basically outright saying, yes, I raped a high-ranking courtesan and got her pregnant.
Well, no, he doesn't say that is the problem. He says he fully intended to do that, and then the other guy beat him to the punch.
The other guy had syphilis.
Yeah, and the other guy had syphilis. Because
why does Lacan say later that MaoMao is his daughter?
He doesn't say that.
He does.
I think
he does.
He does?
He says a lot of shit, though, is the thing. Like,
yeah, see, the thing is, because nobody has ever...
Maybe I'm the idiot.
No. He does say that MaoMao is his daughter. And the thing is, I don't know for 100% sure if he's lying or not, but the thing is, we don't know what the timeline is. We know the broad strokes, but we don't know the details.
Going through it, I think you're right in that he claims that he is the father. What I think might have happened is there were two guys competing for the mom. And one of the guys was successful in getting her pregnant and passing syphilis. And then the other guy lost. So it's possible that either of the two guys could be MaoMao's father. But the guy who obviously survives likes to claim that he is, because it's like some kind of weird bragging thing. I don't know.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing. Like, it is so obvious what the horrible thing is that happened, but the fact that we don't know the timeline is the intrigue of the situation. Because honestly, there are a couple of different ways that this could have gone down, and all of them are horrifying. You know, like, I don't like the implications of any of them, and that's kind of the point. You know, because it's like, as much as legitimately it is frustrating, the degrees to which MaoMao in particular, but also Jinshi to a lesser extent, can just not say things or intentionally not pay attention to obvious things. This kind of falls into the same category, but it's being done to the audience. It's putting you in their headspace. This is why they have the foibles they do. I still find it frustrating to a degree, but it is very understandable why they act the way they do, and that's good craft. I just wish they were a little less annoying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this manga's real twisty-turny. But MaoMao wakes up from her trauma dream. She goes to give a syphilis treatment to a woman who's totally not her mother.
She's a powwow with one of her sisters, establishing their intelligence and worth.
Yeah. She makes a point to say how I'm using a medicine mix that doesn't include quicksilver and arsenic. Okay. Glad to know you're not actively poisoning her more.
Hey, I mean, those were legitimate, like, medicinal, treatments, and they worked for a time. So, yeah.
Medicine evolves over time. For all of the things that may or may not be wrong with the world currently, there are certain things I am grateful for living in this time period for. No leeches, please.
Hey, leeches are still used in some applications.
I know.
But yeah, it's all on the dosage. And, some effects, while it has some positive effects,
side effects may include.
You just got to balance the good and the bad and just hope that the good wins out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more bloodletting over here.
Jay, are you legitimately saying you should balance your body humors?
It was a joke, Matthew.
Nah, I say we should balance our body humors.
Yeah, balance the humors.
Too much black bile.
Yep.
We have a standoff between Lacan and Jinshi where they're like, MaoMao is mine. No, she's mine. No, she's mine. Fuck you, she's mine. I already bought her. Damn it.
Yes.
You got me there. Well,
I'm gonna go be a supervillain over here now.
Well, Your Highness, we'll see what my daughter has to say about that.
Again,
I wonder if he's somehow related to MaoMao. I'll never know.
He knows who I truly am.
Yeah, this is the scene we mentioned earlier where he just so laissez-faire reveals he's a prince, as if you were supposed to know that this entire time.
Yeah, by the way, I'm a prince. Anyway.
As if that wasn't supposed to be a pie-in-the-sky, like, Hail Mary of a take.
Well, it's similar to the babies got switched kind of thing, where it's like, because we're reading a story, that's so freaking obvious. And again, I really do think MaoMao kind of is at least semi-aware that that's what's going on. But
I meant narratively, there is no sting to that reveal. It just you just flip the page. It's like a mid-panel.
Yeah, because it's confirming what you had already suspected.
Yeah, exactly.
To some extent, the we'll see what my daughter has to say about that is also basically the same thing, where it's confirming something that the series was already pretty heavily implying. You should have caught that by now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
This does also have a really freaking good panel a little bit later when Jinshi mentions that this whole interaction happened, and we get a Junji Ito panel.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Mom, I was just like, what was that name you said? Oh, God, okay. No, okay, not going to hit the trauma button anymore.
Well, yeah. We're not going to talk about it, so there's going to be no exposition, and none of us are going to know anything about the others. I sure hope that doesn't cause any problems.
Nope. See, this is how attuned they are. Silence. You knew not to push. You knew not to push.
They're that toxic level of like, I don't need to ask you. I can just know what you're thinking. But neither of them knows what the other is thinking, and they're just so arrogant. They assume they can know what the other person is thinking.
I see a bright future ahead for this couple.
I'm sure you will.
Anyway,
so cute.
So we start getting the connections here that we've been alluding to, that man, sure is a lot of weird connections with all these weird happenstances that have been happening ever since this new main character got revealed in the scene.
Yeah, got to speed up the plot.
Also, he's been in MaoMao's backstory the entire time, and she's very aware of who she is. She just hasn't mentioned him until now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, you've been able to talk this entire time? Why didn't you say anything to me before? I never felt like it.
She literally says that about something. I don't remember what it is, but she literally pulls a...
Did you know that if you take the first 3 letters of your first name and the first 3 letters of your last name, they become sex pal?
What?
Nobody's gonna get that reference, Sam.
That's for all my Lock Tomb fans in the audience.
All negative 3 of them.
What?
We'll get Mary to listen to this show one day.
It's okay. I made a Tom and Jerry the movie reference, which is really just going to not be heard by anyone.
Ew.
We have it is in fact time that we start having our villain show up more.
Rival
Villain, Sonic the Hedgehog or Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Well, no,
there be hedgehogs in this.
She doesn't look enough like MaoMao to be the Shadow the Hedgehog when there is a character who looks enough like MaoMao.
Yeah.
Trying to throw you off the trail. That's what they're doing. Yes.
This is more like a Knuckles.
Well, I was going to say, does that make Suri silver? But
Maybe.
I really hope she doesn't have bullshit time travel shenanigans.
No,
How'd you know? She does.
MaoMao is silver to Suri's Sonic because Silver is supposed to be the inexperienced one.
This metaphor is very labored. We should move on.
We're moving on.
Why is this labor entirely based in Sonic 2006? The game no one has finished because it wasn't finished.
That's not true. Lythera 100%ed it. The hero we all need but don't deserve.
Anyway, the woman we've been talking about this whole time, Suri, she shows up, continues to glare at MaoMao menacingly.
MaoMao stumbles across an herb garden.
Yes. And it's like, oh, herb garden, ginger, medicines, yes! What are you doing in my herb garden? Please don't kill me with a scythe.
Stands menacingly behind her with literal fucking scythe.
She's just doing some weeding. What are you doing in her garden? A bunch of weirdos?
I hadn't stolen any of them yet, but you were going to steal them. Obviously.
What do you mean yet?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm just here to grow some plants for my purpose. You say you're an apothecary? I bet you don't even know the potion to bring people back from the dead. I want to bring people back from the dead. Tell me your dark alchemical secrets. I'm just joking. Hey, it'll be a while, but I'm thinking about planning morning glories here. I wonder how good of an apothecary you are. What does that mean?
She's like that edgy goth kid that you just like are so mystified by.
Hold on. Hold my prosthetic arm. I need to adjust my prosthetic leg.
She really does act like I'm going to say something vague and mysterious, and you're going to think it's profound later.
Yes.
Is it actually profound? Only if I don't die.
Also, are we rivals yet?
Rival?
This scene is the most Moriarty bullshit if it weren't for another thing that happens at the end of our reading.
The other thing that I did is I immediately looked up what morning glories mean in China, which may or may not be important in the next section of reading after this one. So we'll see if that was worth my time.
We'll see.
Now that we've totally got our not Moriarty, the plot lines start converging because
at breakneck singularity pace.
Lihaku reveals that whilst the storehouse fire happened, someone stole ritual equipment from another storehouse, and I'm immediately like, "This is a Rube Goldberg plan, really?"
Oh, and how?
Yep.
I mean, I'm here for it, but really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, and how is it a Rube Goldberg plan?
So we have to kill the previous guy who was watching the storehouse, so the current guy who is watching the storehouse can get poisoned too, so that he wouldn't be there to stop the clerk of the storehouse from lighting a storehouse on fire so you could steal something else from a different storehouse.
Also,
we might have also killed the metallurgist.
I think the metallurgist dying was unfortunate. And the whole point
was unfortunate for him, but for us, it was all Keikaku. It wasn't actually Keikaku. It was really helpful.
The plan needed that guy alive because he was the hideous metallurgist and employed by the Empire. And unfortunately, when he died, so too did the secret of incredibly metallurgy that melts at room temperature. Because that's why you steal the ritual equipment so that you can replace it with new ritual equipment made by an incompetent person.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's one element that I'm not 100% sure about, and this is the timeline is not clear to me. So if someone can like confirm that I'm barking up the wrong tree here, I believe the fire and the metal fixings being replaced happened before the metallurgist died, and part of the reason why it's suspicious that he died is he died in a way that it makes sense. But part of the reason it's suspicious that he died is if he died and his secret technique went with him, no one would think that type of metal was the thing. And the supervillain guy with the monocle got them to rediscover the formula to put them on the right track to finding the culprit. I'm not sure what the sequence of events is of when the fittings were replaced relative to the blacksmith dying.
I would assume that was the point of swapping out why you would steal the ritual implements. Or is that separate from the? I thought the ritual, that is the ritual implements is the thing holding
is the fittings. Yes, yeah. Yes, that is true. But I think the sequence of events is ritual equipment stolen, then the blacksmith dies. So it's like they like the things have already been replaced before the blacksmith died.
So the blacksmith might have been killed just so that it goes with him.
Yeah, to cover up the fact that metal existed.
Yeah, which gives MaoMao's dad, who I'm blanking on the name of, the same vibe as not the Moriarty type, but the Scotland Yard inspector, who I am blanking on the name of from Sherlock Holmes, who's always like, Holmes, there is several crimes that I need you to solve. By God, you're a genius, man. Please have my children.
Like he's the idea that he's setting them on the path to like he's preventing a clue from being lost, basically.
Yeah.
Potentially that he knows exactly what's going on, but he wants someone else to be the one to blow the whistle.
But the whole vibe is that's happened. That guy was killed so that he could be swapped out for a different guy who's incompetent in a different way. Someone was bribed with a fancy pipe because they know that guy would go off and smoke that pipe the first chance he got.
Which blew up the storehouse, creating enough distraction for somebody to go in and steal the ritual implements so that, as it turns out, they could replace the hinges on the very elaborate temple, like...
There's a large metal beam that is held with suspension rope.
So that it can be lowered and prayers can be added to it.
Yeah. And this whole thing is being told to MaoMao by a man who was fired from the temple because he had the gall to go, hey, that could probably be used to murder someone. That's very dangerous. It takes one part breaking to just instantly kill who's ever below that beam.
We don't need that negativity in here, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Who, by the way, would be the most important person in the room.
Does anyone else think that this is ridiculously unsafe? To the archives with you!
Go away.
Oh, that sounds like ancient China.
Hey, MaoMao, you having fun with that random guy? Okay, I'm just going to go get ready for a ceremony. Don't think about it at all.
All right, I'm only interested in the fact that you're going to give me a I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Bezor? I think it's Bezor.
Oh, he's going to give her a Bezor, all right.
Yeah. He's going to give her a fancy mushroom.
No. It's a gallstone of an ox.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it used in like a whole lot of like...
A lot of medicinal...
medicinal... Isn't it also like probably some kind of aphrodisiac?
It's all fake nonsense.
I don't know. She gets really, really, really...
Just because MaoMao is that into it doesn't mean it's real.
I mean, I like to support my girl.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, let her have her Bezor. She deserves it.
Yeah. Stop being haters over here.
But she does her research, and the guy and exposition former cleric man is just like, yeah, that thing's super dangerous, but like, I don't know, I guess it's safe enough. Nobody's died yet. Wait, the fittings for that, those are really like detailed, intricate metalwork pieces, right? Yeah, and they would be ritual implements that could be stored in a warehouse? I suppose so. Oh God, someone's going to die! Ah!
Right now! MaoMao, you're lucky you're in a manga because you could have been going on the complete wrong day.
Yeah.
No, the dramatic timing for this is insane.
When is the next ritual? It's happening
right now.
I gotta get there right now.
I gotta have a confrontation with the guards to fill up page count. This is a good chapter, by the way. I'm taking the piss, but I liked this.
It is, but
Same.
like the entire time I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, so this is the climax of the novel.
Let me in, or a man will die. You're a maid? Why
Excuse me, why is this woman talking to me? I'm gonna hit you with my bat.
What? You're a maid? Why would I listen to you? Oh, I guess it's because you have a small dick and you're part of this assassination conspiracy.
Whoa.
Well, that didn't work. Yeah, MaoMao, that didn't work.
Oh, God, I have a concussion.
She's lucky all she has a concussion. Like, that was...
Yeah.
She could have been instantly killed by that, yes.
Like, that was one of those, like, solid metal well, I guess technically they're metal plated along wood because, yeah. But
either way, it's being swung by a trained soldier. That is
an implement meant to kill. Yes, that is an implement meant to kill.
Yep. And then because we need this character clearly has more legs, but we need him here for the climax. MaoMao's dad comes out and goes like, "Hey, what are you doing hitting a woman? Especially one I'm really interested in." I'm gonna use vague terminology so everyone's super creeped out.
Yeah, he like goes out of his way to be creepy. I don't get it.
Do you like my dark villain shading? I'm gonna make my monocle glow.
You say dark villain, but this entire time I'm getting anti-hero vibes from him. I think he plays up being...
Yeah, no, I could see him playing up being... Yeah, because again, I suspect, if my understanding of the timeline is correct, I think the whole, like, escape room shenanigans was him putting them on the right track to solve this, so...
Oh,
he's
right.
He's framed with dark villain shading and glowing eyes and crap.
Oh, we didn't mention it at the time, but my favorite little tidbit there is he gives Jinshi as a reward for solving that case, like, hey, here's your payment. It's a nice little bottle of high-grade booze. Share it with your girls. And that bottle's immediately given to MaoMao, and MaoMao is just like, I love booze so much. It's the greatest gift ever. Whoever gave this to me clearly knows me as a person. And I'm like, oh. In a way.
He's supporting his daughter's alcoholism.
Like father, like daughter.
Yep.
Again, assuming there isn't some twist going on, which is not impossible.
MaoMao gets into the temple just in time for the...
to dramatically push the would-be victim, who definitely won't be Jinshi, out of the way.
Oh my god, it was Jinshi.
I'm glad no one stopped her in this insane run. There was that one guard. Oh no, I guess there was a second guard, and he gets told to fuck off by MaoMao's dad, who's just like, yeah, don't interfere with her. I'm a military guy. I can make sure you never work again.
I am pulling rank on you, which I mean, yeah, anti-hero vibes, but one of the things about MaoMao's dad is it's pretty clear he knows what's going on and could have prevented all of this from happening.
But that wouldn't be the fun part.
I do wonder if to some degree he was literally there because if MaoMao didn't figure it out in time, he was going to prevent the bad thing from happening, but again, we don't have enough information to be sure on that one yet.
I mean, you want to be real villain, like, man, everyone knows he's a scummy guy. If he saved Jinshi, that's only worth a little bit of clout. If MaoMao saves Jinshi.
Yeah, like this was all according to Keikaku.
But yeah, that's basically the final bit there as she pushes him out of the way, and then we get the...
May I have my Bezor now? Passes out.
Yeah, she doesn't fully...
Eyes on the prize.
That entire metal beam lands on her leg, and her leg does not appear broken. She just has a gash that requires stitches, and I'm like, wow, you lucked out. What the hell?
Oh boy, that concussion's really catching up with me.
Our wrap-up chapter has her waking up in her sickbed, which is in Jinshi's quarters, of course.
Because of course it is.
This is becoming more Sailor Moon by the moment.
I'm here for it. Give it to me.
And it's like, well, yes, actually, with everything that you told Lihaku, we realized that it was that other medicine woman who has been weirdly menacing this entire time. So we went to go arrest her, but she is
the only tall woman we've been introduced to.
She's the only tall woman that smells like medicine. So we went to go arrest her, but we found her dead in her bed, having drunk some poison. She committed suicide to escape her guilt.
This is the Moriarty shit.
Wow, based on my brief interaction with her, I can't believe that she would commit suicide like that. She really seemed like somebody who had a goal that was worth living for and wouldn't just take her own life as soon as her plans came unraveled like that. Wait a minute, what was the poison that killed her? Hey, physician...
Wait a second, did she say something weird and nebulous to me before?
Yeah. Hey, physician, you're the one that did the autopsy, right? Yeah. Aren't you the one that had feelings for her? Maybe. You didn't cut her up, did you? No. Why do you say that? I'm prying open this casket. See, that ain't her.
Oh, suddenly you didn't want to rearrange your guts? What's going on here?
What do you mean that's not her? But you see, she told me about the potion that can raise the dead, and I learned from my father's books that in the West,
she Julietted herself.
There are poisons that, when taken simultaneously, will neutralize each other in the stomach, creating the appearance of death while actually leaving you alive. And that is how she escaped in this incredibly busy morgue.
In fact, if we look over into the corner, I bet we can see that empty coffin is not a regular empty coffin. It has nail holes as if there were a body inside it. But that body is no longer there. Whoa! Moriarty!
Moriarty!
and then
I love this. It's so goofy, but I love it.
Oh, it is so over the top, but this is the fun. You know, like for all the we've been taking the piss. This is like such a fun payoff. And I also absolutely fucking love MaoMao's reaction to all of this. Yes, a worthy opponent.
She literally mad villain cackles, raising her clenched hands to the sky.
And everybody looks on in horror and confusion until she stops because in her excitement, she reopened her stitches.
Yeah, that's how you know she really was into it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, we were recommended to come back here, and we were given an option between this chapter and the previous chapter of when we should have stopped. Man, I'm so glad we did this chapter.
Yes,
me too.
If we had stopped on like the climax action, I would have been like, that was a cool climax action, but that's not Apothecary Diaries.
Yes.
This chapter was Apothecary Diaries.
This is Apothecary Diaries.
This is peak Apothecary Diaries. This honestly puts because it's like the thing that this series is famous for is the scene at the garden party where MaoMao like has the I'll have what she's having face. This is poison. This puts that to shame. This whole chapter is nothing but that scene all the way down, but more.
She finally found a worthy opponent. So good for her. I like this for her.
MaoMao now has her eyes set on her one true love, that Juliet poison.
Are you saying I can drink 2 poisons and not die twice? Amazing.
Spectacular. I need it. It'll be the greatest high I've ever had.
So these people take a combination of poisons to induce a death-like state where they're still barely alive while feeling the effects of the poison. And this is, of course, a sex thing, right?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
No, MaoMao. This is part of political intrigue to do an assassination.
Could it be a sex?
My nipples are so hard. This is a sex thing.
Yeah. If you have to ask that question, the answer is always yes.
And I mean, not for nothing, Moriarty over there did seem to be actively and specifically challenging MaoMao, knowing full well what kind of a person she was. So.
Yes.
Oh, but yes, thus brings us to the end of our readings. So, favorite character and favorite case. MaoMao, favorite character every time. MaoMao, we love MaoMao.
How can you not say MaoMao?
MaoMao.
As for favorite case, God, I really didn't like the seaweed and the solder cases, but like the whole thing with Fengming, I don't know, something about the like Columbo structure of the honey baby murder. I liked that one. It was a good mystery to reacquaint myself with the series on. So I'll say that one. Jake, how about you?
I mean, I kind of already said MaoMao was my favorite character. I will say, Gyokyo has got to be a runner-up because that chapter is the best chapter of all time.
She barely appeared, and yet she ate in every panel.
Well, she had
that's part of what MaoMao was teaching, actually. But yeah, MaoMao, like, come on, like that last chapter. And speaking of which, favorite case, come on, all those ridiculous plots coming together in a freaking Moriarty plan. That's gotta be the best one.
Pretty peak, I can't lie.
Like, again, like, for all the mocking that we did, because like if you sit back and you like hard analyze it, like in a clinical sense, like especially after the fact, like we do in our episodes, it's really dumb and convoluted. But man, it is so much freaking fun. Like it is so like because when MaoMao is putting together, wait a second. This is all a plot. That everything that has been happening has been designed with the express purpose of getting into that fucking shed. Why? And then everything else falling into place is just it's entertaining. There's no other way of putting it.
Yep. Oh, Jay, how about you? Favorite character, favorite case?
I'm so glad you asked.
Hey, Jinshi.
No.
Oh.
It's MaoMao. Thank you very much. But all right. Favorite case is sex ed with MaoMao.
that is my second favorite.
Good choice. And Matt, how about you?
I guess I'll break away from the pack a bit. I loved Lacan in this.
Mm-hmm.
This dude was insane. He's got a weird eye patch. He comes out of nowhere and just eats the scenery. And he's got such a distinct appearance that everyone's just like, yes, Lacan, we've known about you forever. And you've always been a part of this story. And like every time he's on the scene, he just eats the scenery. And he's got that like weird of like, am I a villain? Am I not? Am I just doing this to get a rise out of you? What's going on?
Who can say?
I had to devalue her somehow. Well, I didn't do it. Someone else did, and I just got the bargain price. What? Why would you phrase the story like that?
Shut up, that's why.
And favorite case. I gotta go with MaoMao's course on how to be a throat goat.
You gotta cup the balls.
You gotta cup the balls.
You cup the balls, you suppress your gag reflex, you work the head.
Turn to page 3.
Which really, with Li Shan's food sensitivities, I could see why she left the room. Swallowing's hard for her.
MaoMao, are these katas? But I don't see any hand movements. No, these are tongue movements.
Oh.
Oh. MaoMao, how many pages of the Karma Sutra do we have to read for homework? All of them.
Yes.
The book, the whole book.
My God.
So, plot predictions. God, I don't fucking know at this point. I don't know what to believe with Lacan.
This chapter revealed all the plot I thought could happen, so I don't know.
Me neither.
So I guess I'll be the one to make a plot prediction, because remember how I said I looked up what morning glories meant in reference to like Chinese like flower symbolism?
Well, okay, actually, I do have one. The emperor is going to get assassinated, and Jinshi is going to take the throne as the crown prince. Yeah,
I could 100% see that. But yeah, the thing with the morning glories, the important thing is Sari had to have had an accomplice. And the meaning of the morning glories that MaoMao surmises is that the flower that produces the fruit that is half of the Juliet poison, those flowers look like morning glories.
The thorn apple, yeah.
But morning glories in China symbolize a particular fable about two lovers who could only meet once a year. So I wonder if there is some sort of courtly shenanigans with a because again, we know she has at least one accomplice.
Oh. Yeah, well, when you're they're in the inner court, right? Or still outer?
This is all happening in the outer court.
Okay, yeah. Well, court life is full of drama, so I'm 100% down with that theory. Got to keep things interesting. Keep it spicy.
She's also got the whole thing was she was constantly going into the soldiers' barracks.
Oh yeah, that's boring, girl. Seriously, got probably too many boyfriends in there. That's so basic.
I mean, that is kind of what happened with the mortician, so.
I'm just saying, that's kind of basic. Like, oh, soldiers' barracks, oh my. Come on. It's a story as old as time.
Indeed. But would you continue reading? I absolutely would. This is waffling between like Scooby-Doo and the best of Sherlock Holmes and the cheesiest of Sherlock Holmes. And it's also got just like a dash of like early 2010s romance bullshit in it. Like, I love it. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I would continue reading. If anything, I would continue reading more so than last time. Because while we didn't have amazing reactions to drinking poison, we had MaoMao is just Sherlock Holmes. But not like good, but not like well-written Sherlock Holmes. This is those like newspaper serial Sherlock Holmes, with the ones that get skimmed over. Like the one where he went to an opium den for 3 weeks. And his main takeaway was, I solved the crime, and also I love opium.
Fair takeaways.
But yeah, it has grown on me. And if they do more pointless doctors solving mysteries, I'm here for it. I guess they're going to keep revealing backstory, but at this point, I don't really know what could even matter. Maybe something with that new courtesan, I guess. They had a whole thing, like she's from the north, I guess. But I don't know.
Are you going to continue reading?
Yeah.
Jay.
What? It's not like I've already started.
There it is.
I need to know. I don't know why I'm saying this like I'm trying to shame you. My answer should be pretty freaking obvious.
Yeah, you too, Jake.
Just to make sure all is right with the universe and that I disagree with Matt on something, I actually think that there's a lot more to cover in the backstory because they're very unclear about the timeline, and that actually has a lot of bearing on how heroic or villainous MaoMao's maybe dad is. So like the overarching plot mysteries are really cool and intriguing. Ooh. The individual chapters are like even the bad ones were for the most part a fun read in in the moment. Like honestly, even the Blowfish chapter wasn't bad. It was just really predictable, but like it wasn't not trying to be. Like it was just a quick little filler chapter to set up the rest of that arc. So yeah, I loved this.
Cool. And Jacob, your thing right there just had me have one screwball idea for a plot prediction.
Ooh, we love those.
So Lacan, the dude he was outbidding for MaoMao's mom, was the crown prince that is still alive and is not Jin Shi. And MaoMao is the crown prince, who the emperor's brother who survived,
who got switched. Yeah,
who maybe got switched, but he probably didn't get switched because that lady's son is just dead. And the crown prince is not Jinsei and outbid that guy. And then he did the nasty that was, I really shouldn't like play.
So then who has syphilis? She got syphilis.
He had syphilis because he was a bad guy. And he's also MaoMao's father. And Lacan knows that MaoMao is the blood of royalty. And that's why he's doing all this to like make sure she's put on the scene because he's like, you need to know what your birth is worth, girl.
Okay.
That is a crazy crackpot theory, and I can't wait to see how that bears out.
You know
That's
what?
a role reversal, and maybe Jinshi and MaoMao are into that. I don't know.
I mean,
it would be cousins.
Oh, that stopped royalty before.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, thank you everybody once again for tuning into the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all your social medias where we are at Over Manga Cast.
You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Our episodes there go up on a 2-week delay, so if you want our up-to-date stuff, you can head over to overmangacast.com. That has a section where you can comment as well. Give us your crazy crackpot theories about where Apothecary Diaries is going. No, wait, you're just going to spoil us. Matt, what else can they do?
And as always, we appreciate reviews in any and all forms. We also love recommendations. This was one of them. So if you have something you'd like us to read that we read before, or just a new thing you'd like to read, you can go ahead, reach out to us over mangacast@gmail.com, or, just website's got a nice drop down, YouTube comment sections like Jacob said. Yeah, I mean, speaking of things we need more of, Sam, what are we reading next week?
Well, next week we are doing another recommendation. We're reading Ubel Blatt, chapters 1 through 13. So if you're keeping up with the show, be sure to read that, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.